Rich Paul had some interesting things to say about the Miami Heat and when LeBron James was there and the big three. I took these comments as like, whoa, Chris Bosh, thanks for all the sacrifice, but here we are 10, 12 years later, and we're going to take a dump on Chris Bosh. Let's play the Rich Paul clip. I think this is him talking with Pat McAfee. Play the clip.
That's not the end all be all. I always love a big two. I don't really love a big three. I don't really. People talk big three, but the big three thing has never really worked. And you say, well, what happened in Miami? That wasn't really a big three. There was three guys that went in the lottery and they did really well individually on their team. So they put up big numbers and had big accomplishments. But when you think about it, Bosh was the ultimate professional. He took a back seat and he played a role in which, because he had such a high IQ and he was such a professional as an individual, his approach to everything is what made that work. When you look in Boston, okay, you can say Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce was a big three. Again, thinking about names, but the way that offense was ran, Rondo's capability during that time, it was a lot different. When you've seen people go for that, it never really worked. And I've had this conversation with several different, owners of teams.
Direct shot at Chris Bosh here, who was an all-star, I believe, every year he played with the Miami Heat, but it's not a big three. I think I looked this up yesterday. At one point, Bosh, this is in Toronto, finished 7th in MVP voting one year, 12th in MVP voting one year, and was an all-star every year in Miami and seemed to sacrifice his offense to help the team win a championship. Unfair, fair comment here by.
It's a ridiculous comment, Jason. It's ridiculous on multiple levels, not just because of Chris Bosh. Of course, we know it's a direct shot at Chris Bosh. Just to extrapolate on what you were talking about, Chris Bosh did not make an all-star team in his first 2 seasons in the NBA. Every year after that, until he retired due to health issues at 31, he had blood clot issues. He was an all-star every year. That's 11 straight years as an all-star in the NBA. Yes, he finished 2nd team All-NBA with Toronto. The year just prior to him joining forces with Dwayne Wade and LeBron in Miami. How's 24 points per game and 11 rebounds per game grab you, Jason? That's pretty damn good. And in fact, let me tell you, it was 4th league-wide in player efficiency rating that year. The first 3 in player efficiency that year was LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, and then Chris Bosh. So what you're telling me is you took 3 of the top 4 rated players in the NBA and thrust them on one team? That's a big 3. Rich Paul. And let me tell you why else it's a garbage comment by Rich Paul, who, of course, shout out to you, Rich, the king bootlicker that you are. This guy who was discovered by LeBron James when he was selling jerseys out of his trunk when LeBron was basically like in high school. This guy has just been licking the boots of the king for 20 years now. There's a famous clip after LeBron won the title against Golden State, the first time he started presenting himself as the GOAT. There's a clip where he says, that one right there that made me the GOAT. There's a little sycophant right next to him, Rich Paul, who said, for so many reasons. So this guy has been running alongside, licking the boots of LeBron for years now. So this is just another way to prop up LeBron, kind of. So yes, it's a shot against Chris Bosh, but it's also saying, oh, well, LeBron didn't have any super teams. LeBron didn't have a big 3. BS, Rich Paul. It's a garbage comment by a bootlicker.
For most of my adult life, I've struggled with my health, feeling sore and low energy. But Relief Factor, it's changed all that. I feel better, I move better, I think better. And here's the thing, it's only $20. You've got nothing to lose. In fact, about 70% of those who order Relief Factor go on to order more. Begin your journey, start your transformation, reclaim your life. Relief Factor. So, look, why not just come out and say that, look, man, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, he's basically saying James Worthy was better than Chris Bosh. he's basically saying, as it relates to Larry Bird, Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, Parrish being the third leg of that, I would think, better than Chris Bosh. And so what I had Scottie Pippen is what he's arguing, just like Jordan. And I didn't really, there was no big three. That is what Rich Paul's trying to argue here. But it's nonsense, because I think you could put together an argument that Chris Bosh, on the same level as James Worthy, on the same level as Robert Parrish, and it is a big three. And he's probably saying the big three of KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. But I love the points you made is the end of discussion. Top 4 players the year before in player efficiency.
Player efficiency rating. And if you want to expand, if you want to say that's cherry pick stat, whatever. Okay, fine. Let's look at BPM that year, box plus minus. He was like 19th. He was 18th in value over replacement. He was 17th in win share. He's an undeniable top 15 to 20 player that year. And you put him and made him a third option. That's why it's called a super team. LeBron, that's why it's called a super team, Rich Paul, because you took these 3 jacked elite players in their prime, mind you. He mentioned the Boston thing real quick. Those guys were over 10 years in the league each, the Boston 3, yeah. Right? They were, 12 years, whatever, 10, 11, 12 years in the league, all over 30. Bosh, Wade, and LeBron were 7th year in the league, all under the age of 30. They were all primed, and they were all elite players. They were a big 3, period.
One of the things LeBron and his crew need to recognize and accept, they shouldn't engage in the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate. They should take their example from Michael Jordan, who throughout his career and in his post-career, I don't like to compare eras. I don't want to diminish anybody. I'll let fans and other people handle that. He had respect for the guys that laid the foundation before him. He's got respect for the guys that are working off of his foundation that he built. I don't understand why LeBron and his crew are engaging in this whole discussion. They should leave it alone, and he would be. And again, I know they got baited into it, in my view, by Skip Bayless and that First Take show years ago, 2006, 2007. But at some point, you got to realize just enough is enough, because why does Chris Bosh have to be collateral damage? He made a lot of sacrifices financially and in terms of stats. And, why in your desperate attempt to put LeBron James on a superior level or equal level to Michael Jordan, why damage Chris Bosh? I mean, he seems like a really nice guy. I haven't heard anybody in the NBA really say anything bad about it. And he certainly seemed to have made the most sacrifices. Yeah, I guess you could argue maybe Dwayne Wade surrendering his team, but this is another strike against. The more they try to get that title, the more they harm their argument for that GOAT title.
Because it's just so utterly beneath. Why can he not see how pathetic and how trivial it just looks, it's beneath you. Like, you're an elite, all-time great athlete. Why are you begging people to think you're the best player? Why are you consistently jamming it in our face that you think you're the GOAT? He refers to himself over and over again as the GOAT, Jason. It's so off-putting. Like, he released footage on his Instagram or whatever, some social media, last year, right around playoff time. He's playing horse with his kid in the driveway, and the kid is heckling him, and LeBron made a shot. He's like, "What are you talking about? I'm the GOAT, bro. Don't you know I'm the GOAT?" He goes on his other show. He says, well, Bronny can't call his other son, Bronny, of course we know Bronny now. He can't call me dad when we're at the facility or when we're on the court. He's got to call me Bron or 2-3. He could call me GOAT. If he wants, he could call me GOAT. Like, it's just, why do you just, methinks the gentleman doth protest too much. Like, you keep bringing it up ad nauseum. And the thing is, there is a stunning amount of case against him as to why he does not deserve that title. So the more he brings it up, the more he's basically inciting people like me to build cases of why he isn't. So it's just working against him. I don't know, Jason. I understand he's not smart enough to see this, but why doesn't he have people surrounding him that are?
Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.